Shalom. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakwakadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders that came before me, that brought me into this truth. There's going to be two parts to this video today. This is going to be called Nato prepping to shake the room and rise up ye women. All right. Nonetheless, this truth is only for the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the people that primarily make up the children of Israel today, as well as the scattered Israelites that look like the other nations that wouldn't be classified as so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Nonetheless, we're going to go into a few videos. Again, the first part is going to be going into this upcoming, or what you would call the most loudest, or the loudest silent war you've ever seen in your entire life, okay? World War III has quite literally been occurring before your very eyes, and yet people just aren't talking about it. They keep on talking about the climax or the incoming war or the escalation that's going to actually start dragging in the United States of America, because that's the ultimate player in all this, right? The United States, China, one of those two get involved, the room is really gonna shake, okay? Nonetheless, let's go into a few areas here that I definitely wanted to touch. Let's go here. Matter of fact, let's go here first.
I'm here today to tell you where NATO stands and what we must do to stop a war before it starts. And to do that, we need to be crystal clear about the threat. We are Russia's next target.
Stop right there. Now, I do want to say fair use, obviously, okay? And yes, NATO is Russia's next target, but the issue with that is that they already have NATO troops that have been destroyed in the midst of this war. And we'll see that here in a moment.
And we are already in harm's way. When I became NATO Secretary General last year, I warned that what is happening in Ukraine could happen to allied countries too. That we had to shift to a wartime mindset. This year we took the big decisions to make...
Pause. Like he just mentioned, it's time for NATO to shift towards a wartime mindset, meaning impending doom upon the world. Okay, let's keep on going.
...to stronger. At the summit in The Hague, allies agreed to invest 5% of GDP annually in defense by 2035. We agreed to increase defense production across the alliance. And we agreed to continue.
Pause. Now this cat said 2035, okay? Now the plans of this man are not the plans of the Lord's, okay? So this can happen much quicker than he even plans that this will occur. So investing your little 5% of GDP into your military and whatnot is not going to assist you when it comes to the thermonuclear destruction and the angels that the Lord is going to send on this place and these places.
Support to Ukraine. And we agreed to continue our support to Ukraine. But this is not the time for self-congratulation. I fear that too many are quietly complacent. Too many don't feel the urgency. And too many believe that time is on our side.
Well, hey, and that's a fact. A lot of people believe that time is on their side. They don't think that the Lord is going to send that destruction. They don't think that this World War III is going to actually occur. But that's why your complacency, that's why your idleness is going to lead to your destruction.
It is not. The time for action is now.
Beautiful. Magnificent. Now, the funny thing is that, and we might see this here in a minute, but the funny thing is that Russia is acting, or at least putting up a front, as if they have no hopes and no quarrels with NATO. They don't want any smoke with NATO and whatnot, but they do say that if they jump that gun, if they really want to pull that trigger, then they're 100% ready to put that foot on that gas. Let's keep on going though.
NATO is getting ready to preemptively attack Russia.
Pause yet again. Fair use. This is the redacted channel. And I do appreciate these cats over here because they put out some decent information. All right.
Make this up, and it makes sense. NATO and Europe have thrown everything they can at this conflict, and of course it hasn't worked. Now their next plan is to preemptively attack Russia. Desperate people do desperate things when they're backed into a corner, and as Moon of Alabama so astutely pointed out in a piece this morning, Politico was the first to report this insane idea. Europe thinks the unthinkable, retaliating against Russia. Yeah, it's unthinkable, right? So, quoting now from this piece, Russia's drones and agents are unleashing attacks across NATO countries. Lie. A lot of that has been already debunked, but it doesn't matter, right? Ursula von der Leyen even said that her plane was kept in the air too long thanks to Russia, like Russia was doing it. Turns out that was also debunked and proven wrong. So there's a lot of fake stories about how Russia's attacking NATO countries right now. Anyway, NATO countries and Europe is now doing what would have seemed outlandish just a few years ago. Now NATO is planning how to hit back. Ideas range from joint offensive cyber operations against Russia and faster, more coordinated attribution of hybrid attacks, whatever that means. Quickly pointing the finger at Moscow to surprise NATO-led military exercises. So these are 2 European government officials and 3 EU diplomats are quoted as saying, thanks to Politico. Financial Times also on this. NATO considers being more aggressive against Russia's hybrid warfare. Quoting now, Italian Admiral Giuseppe Covo Dragoni told the Financial Times that the Western military alliance was looking at stepping up its response to hybrid warfare from Moscow. Some diplomats, especially from Eastern European countries, have urged NATO to stop being merely reactive and now hit back. Okay? And they say a preemptive strike could be considered a defensive action. So we're going to preemptively attack Russia, but we're going to call it defensive because Russia's going to attack us, even though there's no evidence at all that Russia has any intention of planning to hit other NATO countries. This provocation. And when you can imagine, of course, the Russians are taking this very seriously.
Pause. Okay, so you got Esau doing this thing like he usually does. He's trying to put up some type of wall, some type of smoke screen to make it to where we just have to go into war. And this is ultimately, the spirit of the Lord being put on these people to finally push that button, man. And that's exactly what we're waiting on, because they're walking themselves into their own destruction. And you suckers, you people that are so damn soft that like to run your mouth against us and tell us that, you shouldn't be talking about the end of the world. You shouldn't be talking about the destruction on Babylon the Great. You shouldn't be talking about the destruction on the so-called white man. Well, the so-called white man is talking about the destruction of the so-called white man consistently, right? And is hoping and wishing that Russia gets completely defeated and annihilated, right? That's what they're hoping for, right? Nonetheless, you need to get off our backs. Let's go to this next video here. Here we go. We're gonna see some decent information, some in-depth analysis on what this war has spawned thus far.
Throw up our non-pretty graphic here on the screen.
Pause. So obviously this graphic is going into the amount of casualties, injuries in the midst of this war. Okay. Now he goes through it pretty slowly. I'm gonna go through it pretty quickly. Okay. And again, fair use. The number of people deleted in Ukraine is 1,377,045 people. Okay. Ukrainian soldiers deleted is 1,009,367. So over 1 million Ukrainian soldiers have been destroyed. NATO soldiers, including mercenaries, 297,894 deleted. These are active and contractors. Simple as that. Civilians deleted by Russia in Ukraine, 1,883. So you have these civilians that are in Ukraine minding their business, and they're getting destroyed by the Russian military. Okay, that's 1,883. Ukrainian civilians injured by Russia, 2,286. So you have 2,286 Ukrainian civilians that have been injured by Russia in the midst of this war. Civilians deleted by Ukraine in Ukraine, Okay, so again, civilians deleted by Ukraine in Ukraine. How many of Ukraine's own people have they destroyed? 67,901. Damn near 70,000 civilians of Ukraine's own people has Ukraine destroyed. All right, so 19,149 missing, quote unquote, civilians. All right, now we put those in air quotes, and they're going to bring up the point. We might not watch that point or listen to that point, but they're going to bring up the point that these people more than likely are destroyed, so they don't have to dole out the government assistance to these people's families. All right, across all categories, that number is 2,355,495 million dead. Million people dead, captured, missing, or injured in Ukraine. Those are astronomical and magnificent numbers. When I say magnificent, I'm talking about those are great numbers, large numbers, right? What's this? Pardon me. I don't even know what that was. Anyway, next, Russia. Let's go into these numbers. 642,014 Russians have been deleted. All right. Of that number, 182,042 of them are contracted military or mercenaries. All right. Let's go here. The number of Russian civilians deleted by Ukraine is 51,874. So you have these Russian civilians, right, that have been destroyed by the Ukrainian army, which reaches 51,874. Let's look at this. Let's compare the number civilians destroyed by Russia and Ukraine is 1,883. But the civilians destroyed by Ukraine in Russia are 51,874. So these numbers are just very lopsided. The number of Russian civilians injured by Ukraine is 77,411. So if you want to take the humanitarian approach, obviously Russia is obliterating Ukraine just taking them right out of the water when it comes to who's being more human. Who's causing the most or the least amount of casualties to the other people's civilian groups? Well, the Russians. Nonetheless, the number of Russian civilians destroyed by Russia is 21, compared to the 67,901 people of the people of Ukraine that Ukraine has destroyed, right? So when it comes to I guess you would say so-called white-on-white crime, or Ukrainian on Ukrainian, or countrymen against countrymen crime, Russia has a very low number of that, but Ukraine has an exorbitant number of that. The total is 642,014 destroyed and 429,228 injured. When you include injured, that total number jumps to 1,076,821. Now, not to bore you with those numbers, but whenever I saw those kind of, took me back, right? I was shocked. Now, honestly, I didn't think that there was going to be that many Russian casualties. I'm not going to lie. Nonetheless, let's continue here. Oh, Slovakia.
To walk you through this.
Yeah, no, we don't need you to walk us through it. But
It's
again,
killed by Ukraine
make it fair use.
in Ukraine. Civilians killed by Ukraine in Ukraine, that number that we showed you earlier of the 67,000, a large portion of those, of course, former Eastern Ukraine.
Okay.
So to be clear, but I'll get some more distinction on that. The number of Russian civilians injured by Ukraine is he normally does, but inside of NATO. These haven't been made public yet by deep state days. Russia has covertly tested 3 new weapon systems over the past 28 days.
Pause. Okay, this is the good stuff. Now he's talking about the new weapon systems that Russia is attempting to deploy and are testing right now.
Are complete game changers. This is making the deep state very nervous, as you can imagine, inside of NATO. These haven't been made public yet by President Putin, which he normally does, but these three are still being kept quiet. Here's one that isn't being kept secret. Russian President Putin just rolled out their most advanced hypersonic missiles to date. Missiles that no one can shoot down unless we're totally wrong about that. We'll get some clarity from Colonel McGregor in a moment on that. This would make NATO really look like a nursery school class with these hypersonic missiles. These are the Oreshnik hypersonic missiles. They're set for combat duty by the end of the year. It's capable of extremely high speeds, long-range strikes. Of course, it marks the development NATO is going to be watching very, very closely. And yet European leaders have some sort of a suicide wish. I mean, you saw all those horrible numbers that we just showed you. They want to be a part of it, I guess. They want to be a part of the death and destruction in the European Union. And
Of course they do, because that's the will of the Lord. We're going to get to that here in a minute.
the UK, preparing to go to war with Russia directly. German Chancellor Merz said yesterday they are ready to draft young men to war if they can't reach their volunteer numbers. Yes.
Well, so there you go. The young men of the EU and the NATO alliance is going to be, they're going to be drafted into this thing, man. They're going to be forced into this thing.
Compulsory service to fight Russia. The UK is telling its populace that they need to get ready to sacrifice their sons and daughters. Watch.
Sons and daughters, colleagues, veterans will all have a part to play, to build, to serve, and if necessary, to fight. And more families will know what sacrifice for our nation means.
Damn right. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Nonetheless, that was basically everything I wanted to touch on that side. Now let's go to it here. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, and verse 19. My bowels, I am pained at my very heart. My heart maketh a noise in me. I cannot hold my peace, because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. And yes, indeed, the alarm of war has been ringing for a very long time. And yet people don't want to listen. They don't care. They say ignorance is bliss. Destruction upon destruction is cried, for the whole land is spoiled. Jeremiah 4 and 20. Destruction upon destruction is cried, for the whole land is spoiled. Suddenly are my tents spoiled, and my curtains in a moment. And that's what's going to occur. Of course, this occurred in the ancient world to the nation of Israel in Jerusalem. But this is going to play out here in Babylon the Great, as well as all these other countries, the respective countries of the North American Treaty Organization. Now let's go to Lamentations 1 and 19 to see how this is going to turn back on Esau, Edom, the respective countries of these Edomites. Lamentations chapter 1 and verse 21. They have heard that I sigh, there is none to comfort me. All mine enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me. For all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. And the Most High God is going to turn these destructions that happened upon his people in Jerusalem, throughout Israel, he's going to turn all that back and put it on these other nations, the enemies of the children of Israel. Let's go to Isaiah 34. Isaiah chapter 34 and 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations. Upon who? All nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. The Heavenly Father has a slaughter prepared for all these different nations. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. As simple as that. The Most High has a plan prepared for these other nations to get that work, man, like Lord of Lux would say, man. Let me see here. Bloweth. Nah, come on, man. Bloweth the coals. I think it's 24. Isaiah 54. Yep, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals, and the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. And who's that going into? That's talking about Esau, Edom. Particularly here, these Russians are getting prepared to send out something magnificent. Send out something that you've never even seen before, right? And it's going to set forth a great destruction on all these different countries that are coming up against it. Ultimately, Russia is going to get that same exact amount of work, even greater. Let's go to Deuteronomy, Isaiah 13. Isaiah 13 and verse 4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. The Lord is not going to have any mercy on these other nations. The Most High is going to have mercy on his people. Pardon me. He's going to have mercy on his people, but these other nations are going to have to deal with it, man. Howl ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. The great amount of destruction that's going to fall upon this place. People are going to be frightful. People are going to be fearing. People are going to be scared. People are going to be indecisive, not knowing what the hell to do. But it's going to be a magnificent time of judgment whenever this occurs, man. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32. And what is that? 40. Yep. Let me see if I can get this in the 95. Yep. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 40. Indeed, I lift up my hand to heaven and say, as I live forever, if I sharpen my flashing sword and my hand takes hold on justice, I will render vengeance on my adversaries, and I will repay those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword will devour flesh, with the blood of the slain and the captives, from the long-haired leaders of the enemy. You see that one? Let's keep on reading. Rejoice, O you Slakia, rejoice, O nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance on his adversaries, and will atone for his land and his people. The Heavenly Father is going to make an atonement with the children of Israel, and for the land of the children of Israel, in which the Most High set his name there. All right? And these other nations are going to have to deal with it. They're going to have to take that flashing or that glittering sword, and they're going to be destroyed. And the Most High is going to be made drunk, or his arrows are going to be made drunk with that blood, man. How magnificent is that? Let's go to Obadiah 1. One hand, Obadiah 1. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 3. I don't need the NSB on this one. Yeah. Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. The Most High is going to be bringing Esau down to the dust of the earth. Let's go to one more real quick before we proceed. Malachi 1. Malachi chapter 1 and verse 2. I have loved you, saith Yahweh, yet ye say, Wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. So the Heavenly Father states explicitly in verse 3, I hated Esau, and he's prepared his place, his dwelling place, and his rulership for destruction, obliteration. And he's already planned for Esau to get big and mighty and whatnot, and proud and boastful. But it's all going to come to naught. Nonetheless, that was basically it on that. Let's go to the second part here. Rise up, ye women. Let's go here. Whew, man, this is tough. Very tough. Very tough. I mean, we might as well. Let's go here. Very unfortunate circumstance, but this is what happens, man. This is what happens when you're in the world, man. Is it gonna play? Hold on. Let me run this real quick.
My motherfucker shot my motherfucker car. You think he's sweet, girl? Nah, I don't play no game with no nigga, girl. I don't play no games with no nigga, girl. Ain't no nigga finna get up on me. How could you, girl? How could you, bitch? How you do your baby mama stuff like that, hoe?
Pause. Now, if you look here at this caption, let me expand this real quick. If you look at this caption here, it says, Memphis woman catches her husband cheating, and he shut up her car. Ain't that a bitch? Oh, man. So she's going through it right now, man. She caught her husband, allegedly, or her baby father, whatever it is, caught him, quote unquote, cheating on her. And so, in turn, instead of apologizing to this woman, he says, I got caught cheating. Maybe instead of apologizing, maybe I should just shoot up her car. Right? I don't think I'm going to apologize today. Instead, I'm going to shoot her car. And in turn, I might just shoot her. This the mind, the brain, the mind or the process that goes through these people's minds. Like these people here don't even think. Matter of fact, hold up. Let's go to it real quick. Hosea 4:6. This is the book of Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, saying thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. You have forsaken the law and the command and the knowledge of the Most High God that he's bestowed upon us. And in turn, you have to deal with the ways of this world. You have to deal with seeing your man, quote unquote, cheating on you. And then he, in turn, instead of apologizes to you, he starts shooting you up. That's what happens here in America. Babylon the Great. That's what happens in this world, man. Whenever you turn your back against the Most High, you deal with the ways of this world. All right? Let's keep on listening to this. We're probably not going to listen to this too much longer because this is upsetting, to be honest.
You don't do your wife like that, fool.
Oh,
Not me,
okay, so she is his wife. Okay.
I'ma say this so nice, cuz. Man, divorce me, cuz. Divorce me, fool. Man, bro, listen here. After what you just did to my car, cuz, I'ma show you what I'ma do to you when I catch you, fool.
That's enough of that. All right. So we ain't got to watch any of that anymore. Okay. Now, obviously, a man can't have more than one wife, but here in Babylon the Great, these women are so sullied and ignorant, they don't even understand that a man can have multiple wives, right? And talking about he cheated, all that nonsense, man. But that's the crazy, ridiculous state of mind that you're in whenever you do away with these commands. All right, let's go here. Let's go to one more place here. This guy Anton Daniels. This guy here, he has some decent videos that be coming up, predicated on what he be seeing on TikTok, and I don't have time to be watching that bullshit. All right, so here we go.
I'm typically private. I don't really talk on here, but I need to get this out my system. I need to get out.
Talking too goddamn much already, man.
And it just may help another person. It may just help another woman. It may help a man. But for the love of God, men, if you are not ready for a woman, if you are not ready for commitment, if you are stuck in lustful ways, if you have things that you need to heal from the past, if you have brokenness in you that you know will break another woman, if you have anything inside of you that needs to be healed, please, for the love of God, leave women alone. Leave them alone. You all are breaking us. You all are breaking good women. and I'm not even the types of cry, but I'm just so.
Pause. Now, of course, what's a good woman? Okay. What is a good woman? All right. A good woman is a woman that follows the Lord. All right. First off. Now, the issue here is 99.9% of these women out here that like to run their mouth aren't good women. Why? Because first off, they're not virgins. They're dealing with multiple men. They've dealt with multiple men over their lifetime, and yet they get frustrated and angry whenever a man is dealing with multiple women. How does that work? The first man that you lay with as a woman is supposed to be your husband for life. But obviously you don't care, so this is what you deal with. You deal with your husband, quote unquote, cheating on you, and then allegedly spraying up your vehicle, right? That's what you deal with, okay? You deal with this right here. Getting on TikTok, running your mouth about a man breaking you. What the hell are you even talking about? Let's keep on going.
Frustrated. I have no one to talk to about this, but I need to get this out for a young woman who may be in the same situation or the same boat as me. Girl, get up and go. Get up and go. Go. Leave. Leave now. Don't sit and endure another moment. Don't endure anything. Don't stop forgiving so much over things that you know you should have walked away from. Stop it. Stop.
Let me ask.
Pause. All right. If you're not talking about the scriptures, man, I don't give a damn what this cat. His commentary is okay for secular people. Okay. This girl here, and again, fair use. Okay, cause I am using this cat's video, and I'll link it in the description. All right. That's it. That's as far as that goes. Obviously, again, this woman here is running her mouth talking about the love of God. Well, let's go to the love of God. Okay, let's go to the love of the Most High. Let's go to John. Oh shoot. First John 5. This is the book of 1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. That's it. That's the love of the Most High, okay? Now we're going to go into some of these commandments, but we're also going to go into the Apocrypha. Sirach chapter 26 and verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth Yahweh. You see that one? You could turn this either way. Make it work vice versa. A wicked man could be the portion to a wicked woman. Clearly, right? You can say it both ways. And a lot of these women are given over to wicked men, right? Wicked men that are ready to crash out and spray up your vehicle or spin the block on your vehicle over them cheating on you, allegedly, or quote unquote, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? And of course, a godly woman or a woman of the Lord is going to be given over to a decent man, a man of the Lord, right? And that's a magnificent thing. But a lot of these wicked ass women out here, man, these goofy ass goobers, these silly women out here are complaining and running their mouths about lust and whatnot. Well, if you were so concerned about a man being so lustful and only wanting you for your body for a certain period of time, then what you would have done is wait until he committed to you and then gave it up, all right? Or you would have really just dealt with the man of the Lord. That's what you should have done. But of course you didn't do it because you don't care about the Lord and his ways. You care about your ways. Truthfully. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 6. Proverbs 6 and verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. You see that one? To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. You brothers out there, man, you have to be very, very careful dealing with these women out here, man. The women of our nation, man, are magnificently, extravagantly beautiful, man. Without a shadow of a doubt. A good portion of them. Even though you have a greater portion of them that are horribly obese and completely obliterated, right? Now, about 90, well, I'll say, 66.6% of our women are completely destroyed in the brain, right? And that's a gigantic chunk, right? But here on earth right now, in the midst of the great Satan, in Babylon the Great, you have about 99.9% of these women out here are freaking destroyed, man, in the skull. Numb skulls, all right? Now, let me get off that for a moment. I say all that to say this. You have to be very careful about dealing with a woman concerning her beauty and concerning your lusts, okay? You have to be able to hold yourself together, right? And know when to say no, know when to reject it. Understand when the time is right, right? And if she doesn't know how to wait, hey, it is what it is, man. She's not the one for you, okay? Now, of course, you have women of the world that can be much better than some of these wicked women in their so-called truth, right? Right? But nonetheless, man, it's very important and imperative that you make the right decision about the woman that you deal with, man. All right? Now, these goofy ass women, man, they're going to do whatever the hell they're going to want to do anyway. So this is not even directed towards them, okay? This is not even for them. But as you saw, these are the things that happen to the women of your own people, and you are and if you're assisting in that, then you're the problem, right? If you're a dude that's rolling up on a broad and then popping her and then dipping out, you are part of the problem, man. You are a part of defiling your own women and not taking hold of them and not making them to be, an honest woman, not making an honest woman out of that woman, right? And that's a terrible thing to do. Let's go to Exodus 22. Exodus 22. Is it 222? Exodus 22. Come on, Exodus 22 and 16. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. So if you lay with a woman that's single, you have to take her to be your wife, right? That's it. There's no two ways about it, okay? And if you don't do that, you're going off, man. That's an evil and wicked thing, all right? You should be as transparent as possible when it comes to dealing with these women. So they can't turn around and say, well, he slept with me and then he said, you're my wife, and now I can't escape. No, you have to give these women an option, and then if they don't know how to make the decision, you make it for them. Walk away. That's not hard. The women of our nation here in America, as well as the diaspora, are completely freaking off and wicked and are destroyed in the brain. right? So you can't leave it to them to make a good, a nice or decent or a wholesome or a smart decision. You have to be the wise one in the situation, and you have to know when to say, I'm not even going to lay with you, okay? Because I don't think that this is going to work out, right? Or if you have any quarrels about it, you just want to deal with her, man, and you think that you think that it has potential, then that means that you vet that woman, right? But those one night stand demons and whatnot, man, that kicking it for a couple of weeks and then you cracking, nah, man, that's not the move, man. That's not a smart thing. You haven't taken enough time to vet that bitch. That bro could give you all kinds of freaking diseases, man. And your dumb ass is gonna get up looking crazy. And Hebrew Israelite with freaking crabs all over the damn place. All right? Let's go here. 2 Timothy 3. 2 Timothy 3. Man, come on, bro. All right. 2 Timothy 3. And where we at here? 6 and 7. Yep. This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 6. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. These women are always running their freaking mouths, man, acting like they know everything, but they don't know shit. That's why you have to lead them, man. That's why they must be led. That's why whenever you lead them to their own devices, God forbid the father is not in the household, then what happens? They start making horrible decisions, and they start blaming men for the multiple horrible decisions that they make. Why? Because the man that was supposed to be there to guide her was not there. And whose fault is that? That's your fault, man. That's our fault. It all falls back on us because we are supposed to be the leaders. That means that we take the brunt of the responsibility. That's why we stay the hell out of the way and we deal with a decent woman. So we can't be culpable for the wickedness that is pervade all throughout our people, and of course throughout the societies that we're amongst at large. Nonetheless, what do we got here? Yes, and again, yes, indeed, yes. These women are very, very silly. That's why they do a bunch of dumb shit, man, and they run into the wrong dude constantly because they don't take the covenant of marriage seriously at all. So they're going to be running up and down trying to get their degrees or be in the workforce, whatever it might be. And because they don't take marriage seriously, they don't care to get married. They don't even care. They're not worried about it. So what do they care about? They do care about fulfilling their lusts. And what is one of their lusts? Dealing with multiple men. And in the midst of fulfilling their lusts, they're going to be dealing with multiple men and getting pregnant by 1 or 2 or 3 sometimes men, even 4. Who knows, man? Who can count, right? So there are actual cause and effects that occur whenever you run away from this truth or you don't care about the ways of the Lord. But of course, the fashion of this world is going to pass away. The way of the Lord is not respected in this nation or amongst these people, right? In this disgusting country. Amongst our people, the word of the Lord for the most part is not respected. How much more in Babylon the Great, the United States of America, right? So that's why it's so important to leave these chicken heads alone, man, and leave them to their own devices. And these wicked bitch ass niggas, man, that are doing these things, man, you stay clear away from these wicked ass people, man, because they're slated for destruction their damn selves, man. Now you got to stay away from those wicked ass people. Let's go to Matthew 24 and 12. Excuse me. And because iniquity shall wax, Salakia, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So again, you see things like that woman and her husband, she catches that man, quote unquote, cheating or dealing with another woman. And then he turns around and starts airing out her freaking car. Who knows? He could have been dealing with the whole man. Who knows? Right? And that's why she's wigging out so hard. Right? But whatever the case may be, okay, whatever the case may be, this place is is magnificently laden with sins, man. All kinds, to the damn near to the brim. Iniquity has abounded in this place. And yes, indeed, the love of many has waxed cold. Proverbs 8 and 35. Let's go to it. Proverbs 8 and 35. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of Yahweh. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All that, Slakia, all they that hate me love death. Let me read that again. Proverbs 8 and 36. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. And that's what a majority of our people are into. They love death. They made a covenant with death, right? And that's why the Most High is going to take out a heavy portion of our people. And in these last days, these other nations are going to be feeling the brunt of this as well. Of course, the so-called black woman is the forefront of rebellion here in this society, because she's sharply rebelled against her own man. But she's going to have to deal with that. You wicked ass niggas that have rebelled against your God, your power, you're going to have to deal with that. And these other freaking nations, man, they're going to have to deal with it, right? Nonetheless, hopefully you were edified. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kwarkadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders that came before me that brought me into this truth. This has been Nato prepping to shake the room and rise up, ye women. Until next time, Shalom.